Coming to you live on location, this is the Between the Benches podcast, where we will discuss anything and everything hockey related. Let's drop the puck and get the action underway.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Between the Benches podcast. As always, it's your boy Dak. Hope everybody's enjoying their week. We're almost to Friday. We're around the eve of Memorial Day, so allow us from Between the Benches to be the first to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Shout out to all the veterans out there. I think that's what Memorial Day is for like for veterans and all that stuff. But it's technically National Grilling Day, if you ask me, but we'll get into that later. Joining me, as always, are my Canadian colleagues of Big Canada Daddy Brock Finch and Hotel Stay in Grandpa. How are we, fellas?
New background, same
yeah,
job.
Nice. Nice. Big Canada Daddy, how are we?
It's always a pleasure. I'm always happy to be here,
nice.
especially with the news we got today. You know.
Oh, okay.
Just
Big
happy
news.
As a pig in shit. Let me tell you,
Nice.
This is gonna be a quick one, right, Graham?
Right? Yeah.
The Chicago hire.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll get into that. Don't get too far ahead of me.
Graham is the king of jumping around.
Well, we are brought to you by Old City Sports Network. Feel free to join us in the chat as well. We are live currently on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We are brought to you by Old City Sports Network. Make sure to check out oldcitysports.com. Use the promo code OldCity for 15% off site-wide. They got all your blogs, your podcasts, everything in between. You can also use our promo code BENCHES15 for 15% off on the merch store. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. We are happy to be with you. As Graham said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the action because we got a quick one up for grabs, apparently. Let's go around the ring, shall we? This is sponsored by IronSteelThreads.com. Make sure to check out IronSteelThreads.com. Get great hoodies, shirts, other apparel. They have new designs every month. They are made here in the States. And you can use the promo code OldCity10 for 10% off. And part of your purchases go to youth hockey organizations. So good at you there. Helping people. Just like the Dallas owner offering the flight for Mark Scheifele that he kindly denied. So, but anyway, Graham, you mentioned the Chicago coaching call here. So Jeff, oh man, I'm terrible with these names. Blashill, right? Yeah. Jeff Blashill was hired by the Blackhawks. He did spend the last 3 seasons as an assistant with Tampa Bay Lightning. He was the Detroit Red Wings coach previously from 2015 to 2022. He compiled an overall record of 204, 261, and 72. He currently ranks 5th all-time in franchise history for games coached, and that's at 537, and he's also 6th in wins for the Red Wings. So, guys, flash forwarding here, I'm in the Windy City and all. Do we think this is a good hire, or do we think it's a 3 years and kind of out the door situation?
I wouldn't expect to see anything immediate. I think it's kind of a low-pressure job for being an original 6 teams coach. But given the circumstance of what the Chicago Blackhawks are on the roster, don't expect a big turnaround. If he doesn't have a winning record before with the Red Wings, now he got a coach under John Cooper, which there's reason to be optimistic for. Yeah, what do you think, Brock?
I found it interesting from the point of view of this is the exact same situation he had when he took over in Detroit, except I'd argue it's even worse from a roster perspective. Like, their roster is in shambles. But assuming, and I think everyone does, grow and learn on the job, and I like to think of myself as a lifelong learner, try to always be inquisitive and improve. And assuming he's done the same here, I think with his second crack, he'll do a better job. Do I think that he's the coach that when they inevitably push to win in the playoffs, is he going to be the guy? I don't know. I don't have a fortune. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know how that's going to look. But obviously they thought he did a good enough job with the Detroit youngins. Larkin spoke pretty highly of him. And, Larkin's pretty good at hockey. I'll take his word for it. So I was intrigued with him using his second chance, maybe not second chance, his second, head coaching gig on the exact same kind of situation as his first. I thought that was interesting.
Definitely some parallels. A little, I don't know necessarily from a talent standpoint, but there definitely are some parallels. Ryan is in the chat. Ryan, we will definitely get to the Canes here shortly. We're not calling for Rod Brindamore's job. Don't worry. It's no worries there. We're talking about the Chicago situation, but I think it will be interesting. The the bottom of the Central is definitely up for grabs as far as the Central as a whole. So maybe they can climb their way out of the basement. To your point, though, I think they're just looking for progress. Just somebody to come in and mesh with the young guys, hopefully get them going in the right direction, and just show a little bit of progress. So we'll see what happens.
You can't have happen last year happen again. It can't be that bad.
And there's a lot of young defensive talent in Rockford that is not talked about enough, in my opinion. They did get reverse swept in the AHL playoffs not about a week ago to the Admirals, right? Because that's Nashville's AHL team. Yes. But go ahead, Graham. I think you had something to say.
One thing I did notice with Blashill is he actually won a championship with the Grand Rapids Griffins before coaching Detroit. So, he's done well. Typically, the AHL is a little younger. So he does have a good voice with that kind of demographic. So hopefully it translates to today's Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, and we've talked in length, too, about the carousel that this league usually provides for head coaches. I mean, for him to last 7 years with one franchise, regardless of what that franchise was, he had to be doing something right. So hopefully that can translate over to the Blackhawks, because God knows that us Chicagoans, we need a sports team to get behind, because we don't have any of them. I don't know if you saw.
Don't expect playoff success. I'm just looking at it right now. He has one round of playoff experience.
Well, now he's with Tampa.
No,
as a head coach.
As a head coach of Detroit?
Fair enough.
He has only ever coached for Detroit and Tampa. Head coach of Detroit, assistant for Tampa.
Yeah.
So he must have been
He was like you got to remember, it's been 10 years since Detroit has made the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to wrap my head around.
He was an assistant coach for Detroit in 2011, 2012, and then head coach in 2015, 2016. In between that stage, he was the head coach of the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Todd Federick.
I don't know who Todd Federick is, but apparently he looked like him. So shout out to Ryan. We appreciate you being in the chat. Thanks for stopping by. The next thing I had up for grabs, and I got to give a shout out to our Canadian here, one of our Canadians, and that's Graham, for this title. We have Shanahan being relieved. So unfortunately, Toronto has decided to part ways.
So stupid.
Part ways with Brendan Shanahan. He will not be coming back as part of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. He did spend the past 11 seasons with the team. He is responsible for the core four, if that's what you want to call him. I did see a report today that he is possibly interviewing with the Islanders to become, one of their next. I don't know if it's president of hockey ops or GM or maybe both of the same thing, in my opinion. But Brock, since you're our resident Leafs homer, first of all, how do you feel about this? And second of all, is there someone that you feel is like a slam dunk? This person needs to be hired. Give them a blank check to come in and fix this team.
Okay, I'll start with my feelings. This had to be the easiest decision that the MLSE, Major League Sports and Entertainment, that they will make, I think, in this entire process. You simply could not logic your way into bringing this guy back. He's the reason that the Dubas situation played out the way it did, and he's the reason that Marner is now walking away and you're not getting anything for him. He is the reason for this entire debacle. He's the reason they kept everything together from 2021 onwards after the Montreal implosion. I don't know. And if you're upset with this decision, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm at a loss for words. Now, as for replacements, I will make light of the fact that I really do just shit on Ken Holland whenever I get a chance, but I can't bring myself to think anything else other than Ken Holland's off the board. It can't be that bad. I don't know who the obvious one is to bring in, but I'm just happy it's not Ken Holland. I don't know why. LA, good luck.
You really are a Ken Holland.
I really am. I don't know why I hate him so much, but I do.
Okay. Well, he lucked his way into everything,
He did, in my opinion. I will mention Tavares walking for nothing is also not something that's like I shouldn't not mention it. Like, Tavares walking away, having been frankly just a good soldier the whole way along, captain most of the time he was here, and the way that's ending too is also pretty unfortunate, I guess would be the best way to put it. I don't.
Big
really
Z
know how
is
else.
Big Z is back in the chat. He's asking if Marner is 100% gone or is it still up in the air. I know there's some contract stuff on the board, but I wasn't sure if anything is official.
He has allegedly ruled out some Canadian markets. So I don't think Toronto's officially ruled out, but if he does not stay in Toronto, do not expect him to be on the north side of the border.
Toronto cannot you cannot run it back. Even at a reduced number, I don't think you can.
Losing Tavares isn't running it back, though. I think you can lose Tavares and keep Marner and not count it as running it back.
No, I do. No.
That bad, eh?
We disagree.
Bad. Okay.
There's no world at this stage where I can justify it or logic my way into that decision.
All right, so Big Z, pick your favorite between Brock and I, and then that's your answer.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, well, and that's the other, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you're right. Like you can't, you really can't bring this core back anymore. It's been 9 years. You can't, you just can't do it. You literally can't do it anymore.
They've given you no evidence that it works.
I am going to be very interested to see who they bring in to fill that spot, and especially how they go to, because obviously Berube came in and they did play definitely a different style of hockey, I would say, than years past. A little bit more of a defensive, I don't want to say shell, but then of course they got destroyed by the Panthers in Game 7 and Game 5. So yeah, go ahead.
There was one suggestion I heard from one of my other buddies. He was curious if they'd kick Tree Living upstairs to be the president and then promote Brandon Pridham to GM so that they don't, because whenever his contract's up, I'd imagine he would be up for just about any GM job he could possibly want. I'm assuming that's who Dubas is actually holding out for because he's technically president and GM in Pittsburgh. So yeah. I'm just saying that crossed my friend's mind, and I liked the idea of potentially just promoting from within. And Pridham, he's the cap guru. He runs their books, and they always find a way to gymnastics their way into good money situations. So I wouldn't hate that if they did that.
That is definitely how it works with the money. Big Z did say Marner won't sell for less, so I could see. It'd be smart to get rid of him. I think he could fit in way more somewhere else. Yeah, 100%. I definitely think
he's gonna go somewhere else and win.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Right?
That's happening. No, I can't. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then you'll be the sickest man in Canada. You'll be right there with Joe Sakic.
No, because I was right. No, I was right.
Okay.
I nailed it. I predicted it.
All right, fair enough. Well, we will transition here into the last thing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the NHL released a 25-cent or I guess quarter century team. So just to let you know, I'll run through these names real quick. So for goalies, we have Martin Brodeur, Marc-Andre Fleury, Henrik Lundqvist, Roberto Luongo, Carey Price, and Patrick Waugh. So that was like your top, 6 goalies. The only snubs that I really saw on this list were either Bob or Vasilevsky. I definitely feel, it's really hard to take out any of those goalies and put those two guys in, but I think we could argue about it until we're blue in the face. Hellebuck, maybe. I feel like he hasn't been doing it long enough.
Yeah. If you had a snub, outside of one we're going to get to when we get to the skaters.
Yeah, Big Z just doesn't want Marner in Boston, by the way. That's the only place he doesn't want him to go. That's really funny.
Boston should not be buying anyone.
I don't think they should be buying anyone. Yeah,
right.
That would not be my recommendation. But if they were off this list and you thought they were snubbed, I think it's just a longevity thing. Like otherwise, Hellebuck would have to be on there. He's one of the last.
Keep in mind, it's also a fan vote.
It is a fan vote.
Right. That's a fair point. That would be the only reason I think that certain players that are left off these lists.
Yeah, and I think that explains a couple of the other people on this list as well. And then you have some skaters. So these are the skaters that debuted before 2000. You have Zdeno Chara, Jerome Gedla, Nicholas Lundstrom, Joe Sakic, Timu. Oh no, Timu.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Timu Solani.
There you go. I was going to say that's.
I know I've seen this name before. Timo Solani, and then Joe Thornton. Obviously, shout out to Jumbo Joe. The original dead animal on his face. I think he made the dead animal famous before anybody else did, in my opinion. And then you have the skaters debuting between 2000 and 2010. Brock, you'll love this part. This is Patrice Bergeron, Sidney Crosby, some guy named Pavel Datsyuk, Patrick Kane, Evgeny Malkin, Alex Ovechkin, and Steven Stamkos. So anybody come to mind from the 2000s or 2010s that you feel like may have been a snub?
No, Datsuk's there. We're good.
Okay.
When I first heard it, I kept thinking, like, there has to be more. Like Yager comes to mind, but the more people I
Yeah.
looked up, they peaked in like the 90s.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had to be the
They just
25-year
happened to
window.
play.
Like Yager,
Yeah.
Yager was
Millennia.
more the 90s than
Right.
Yeah,
2000s.
Lindros, like those
Yeah.
guys.
90s.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then we have the skaters who debuted after or debuted since 2010, and they had Leon Draisaitl, Johnny Gaudreau, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Austin Matthews, and Connor McDavid. So the only snub, notably, that I had on that list was probably Nikita Kucherov. I definitely feel like he should probably be on that list outside.
I will say this: the only reason Johnny Gaudreau is on that list, it's not because he's better than Kucherov in hockey.
It's a fan vote. Yeah.
Yes, let's be honest.
So.
That's not a hockey skills pick there.
Yeah.
The snub that I noticed isn't necessarily a name, but you have 6 goalies and you only named 3 defensemen.
Yeah, I did notice that too. Like, where's Victor Hedman? Where is
Weber was
Carlson,
the one.
Shea
Weber.
Weber was the one
Yeah.
that I thought.
There's
PK
so
Subban,
many.
right?
Wow.
Hey, best dressed guy in the league for my money. Well, I guess he's not in the league anymore, but hey, he's still around. So
Sure.
But yeah, we will. I think we should do more of a deep dive in that maybe in the summertime. So maybe we'll create our own 25.
Just make our own team. Yeah.
Yes, I kind of like that idea. We'll maybe a Mount Rushmore. And so check us out on our social medias, by the way, interactive. So maybe we'll do a vote. I'll put a vote out on Instagram and we can start, maybe chatting that up and all that good stuff. So, well, here we go. Let's get into what everybody came here for. We're going to start tonight with the Ice Cats. The Ice Cats are flexing. So we're going to start in the Eastern Conference. This is sponsored by decalsbyaaron.com. Make sure if you need a decal, you need anything made, you go out and you reach out to our buddy Aaron at decalsbyaaron.com. He'll hook you up. So we'll recap game 1 real quick. The Panthers handled game 1. I don't even know what adjective you want to use for game 2. We'll get there in a second. But They took game 1 5-2. It still looked like a Carolina game just because Carolina had 33 shots and Florida only had 20, but it didn't have any indication of the score. So Florida actually went 15 minutes of actual game time. When it was, I think it was 3-1. They went 15 minutes without a shot, and then literally they got a power play, and they scored on the first shot they took on that power play. So that was just kind of the long and the short of it. Just a couple notes here for the Panthers. These are not updated. I'll update them in my head here. So the Panthers have now outscored their opponents. Leading after game 1, it was 17-4 in their last 3 playoff road games. So now it's what, 22-4? Yeah, 22-4 in their last 4 road games. For the Canes, this is tough, and this does include tonight's loss as well. But for the Canes, the loss marks the 14th straight loss in the conference finals dating back to 2009. So pretty tough there. Fun fact, if you like to kick people while they're down, this is a Graham stat. That's what we'll start calling this. So the Sabres most recent conference finals win was May 16th of 2007. And Carolina's most recent win was June 1st of 2006. So technically the Buffalo Sabres have won a Eastern Conference finals game before since the Carolina Hurricanes have won one.
I mean, the more the teams get eliminated in the playoffs, somehow the Buffalo Sabres seem to be looking better and better.
Yeah, there's a lot of Toronto stats flying this week.
I think that this is a good time to ask my little quick question here for you, Dalton. So the last time the Hurricanes won a game in the Eastern Conference final was that 2006 run. The last time they won a game in the Eastern Conference final. Can you name who scored that game-winning goal in that series?
Is this for both of us?
Graham knows the answer. Graham knows the answer.
Brock asked me on the phone. I got it wrong.
Okay. Is this like a trick question? Is it Rod Brindamore?
It is Rod Brindamore.
Okay, I was gonna say, is this a trick question? Yeah. Other fun stat I had that I saw is after when they beat Washington, they were the first team to eliminate the NHL's leading scorer of all-time goal scoring. Obviously, since like the 90s or whatever, since Wayne Gretzky played, and the Flyers eliminated whoever Gretzky was playing for. Forgive me, I don't know, but Brindamore was the guy who scored the game-winning goal in Game 5 to eliminate Wayne Gretzky. Wow. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty wild too.
It's a nice little connection. Yeah.
So that's a fun stat there. But it's my biggest takeaway too is that they hate these teams. If they didn't like each other before, they definitely don't like each other now. There were 97 hits in the first game. And 30 total penalty minutes.
That second game was chippy.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, big takeaways from either one of you. I know Bob's is really good on the breakaway. That's another note I had written down. He is literally the breakaway king. I mean, the Hurricanes had a couple breakaways in the first period to maybe, kind of get out on the Panthers, but he's just so good. He's just so good.
I mean, the only real big takeaway, and this is from game 2, I know we're kind of thinking game 1, but that Florida penalty kill is just like, it's quite literally like a fire extinguisher. Like you can't breathe. They don't give you time to think, set up, nothing. Their penalty kill is, you want to talk about doing studies. Everybody should be doing it like that. Oh my goodness.
I mean, both these teams had the best penalty kills of the playoffs coming into this round. Carolina led the league in penalty kill for the regular season, and their penalty kill was actually higher than Florida's in the postseason.
In the playoffs. Yep. I think they started like 18 of 18 before the Capitals scored in, I think it was like game 2 or game 3 to finally break through. But yeah, it's
stats like that make me just, how the fuck are Florida just manhandling this team?
Yeah.
Like, how is it like they don't even look like they're in the same league? Like,
well, the first game was the same thing last year. Yeah.
It was the same.
No, they played the Rangers last year. Yeah, it was 2023 is when they played last time.
Man, like, it's impressive. It's impressive, man.
Do we expect it to continue?
I mean, I don't see any reason why it won't continue. I mean, that was they're not. I mean, Carolina had like 20 shots tonight.
They don't have an answer for this Florida team. I haven't seen
17 shots.
Christ, the Leafs had more pushback in certain games of the series. Like, they didn't look like they were in the same league tonight from when I was watching.
Yeah, they just physically looked outmatched in that game. I mean, just every aspect of it. We did have a couple guys leave game 2 early. And last thing before we jump back into game 2, I think one of the keys for this series I thought was going to be kind of goals from distance, like who can actually score from, kind of the blue lines. Because going into the first game of the playoffs, Carolina led the postseason in goals by defensemen, or I guess from perimeter shot goals. They had 11 goals, and then Florida had 6, which they were 1 and 2 respectively. So we kind of knew they'd be physical and be kind of crowding the net. So I figured maybe the difference would be who can get a shot in from maybe, kind of those perimeter looks. And it doesn't really matter. Florida's just taking it to them, whether it's around the net or not around the net. It doesn't matter. So we'll jump into game 2.
I was like, game 2. No, this is on game 2. If Aho doesn't get any supplemental discipline for the hit on Reinhart, I will be very curious to see how that plays out. Like that,
I can't believe Gostisbehere didn't get anything for literally taking a slap shot at Brad. I mean, I'm never one to stand up for Brad Marchand. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Please, nobody take that out of context.
He had to get, and he didn't get anything. That's ridiculous.
He didn't get anything. Nothing. Not even like a talking to.
At least fined.
He takes a slap shot at Brad Marchand from literally 150
He even
feet from his own net.
Yes. He even admitted it. Like, which was the crazy part. Like, bro, you confessed to the crime. 100%. I don't understand why. Maybe
they threw out fines for way worse.
Well, way less.
Yeah.
Dude, what did Nick Cousins?
Jimmy Ben got $5,000.
No, Nick Cousins got fined $25,000 in the first round against Leafs for chipping a puck at Stolarz in warm up.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
That's tough.
Mickey Mouse League. Mickey Mouse.
And welcome everybody in our chat, by the way. We had some people join, so shout out to everybody. But yeah, game 2 tonight. Panthers obviously dominate the Canes 5-0. Cumulative score, in case anybody was wondering, through 2 games, if you can't do math, I had to take my shoes off to count this high, but it's 10-2. And it was 13-6 in the regular season in favor of the Panthers. So this is like the one series that has translated from the regular season to the postseason. Here's another fun stat for you. Florida has 18 different skaters this postseason with at least a point. So I believe that leads the playoffs. Sam Reinhart did leave the game with a lower body injury after a hit from Aho. So that could be, I don't think it's going to make a big difference in this round, but he is a really good penalty killer. He's one of their best scorers, obviously. So that might have a lasting impact. The Cats were 2 of 2 on the power play. They're also plus 24 this postseason in goal differential, which is just crazy to me, especially with the team. They've played the Lightning and the Leafs, and they're plus 24. Think about that.
Well,
yeah. Graham, is this the best third line in hockey? Is this what really is separating them, or is it just like the whole team?
I think Florida is very deep. I think Dallas is the only team even remaining that's even close to the depth that Florida has.
Even from a defensive standpoint?
They have 3 first lines. Like, that's the long and the short of it.
I think Lundell is very underrated.
Yes.
I think he's an incredible defensive center.
100%.
Even two-way, not just defensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Lundell is like Barkov light. He's like Barkov light.
Yeah.
And I think Lisserainen needs a little more love.
Yeah.
He's very underrated. He leads the postseason right now in plus minus, by the way. He is plus 12, and he leads the postseason. He wasn't even plus tonight. He was a 0. They didn't even need him. The whole line was a 0.
Yeah, the whole line didn't even
rating.
show up tonight, and they won 5-0.
They didn't even need him. So, oh, man. Somebody ugly Aaliyah. I can't see it. My screen is sideways. It says time for a new coach in Carolina on our Instagram chat. So they're already starting.
I have a hard time with that. Like, let's wait and see. We're only halfway. Like, they've only lost 2 games. It's not.
Well, Eddie
Olczyk, coaching in the playoffs takes a lot of adaptation, and the fact that they haven't won a game in this many Eastern Conference Finals attempts.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Can he adapt when he needs to? He's great at the system he creates, but can he deviate from it to help his team get over the hump?
I think it's safe to say Florida's figured out your system value. You got to change something. Like, they've figured something out.
100%. Are we disrespecting and forgetting about Bob, by the way? Maybe not disrespecting, but are we forgetting about Bob? He did have his 6th career playoff shutout this evening, and it's his 3rd of the postseason.
I mean, I'll give him his flowers. I've shit on him a bunch in the past for his contract, not his play. But yeah, no, Bob's doing what is expected of him. Like, that's maybe why we're not, talking about it that much. Bro, you're paid $10 million to stop the puck. Good job. You're stopping the puck.
I mean, you can hate on it all you want. He's got a cup.
As soon as they won the cup,
that
contract was like immediately nice. What's up, Luke? And to say, as soon as they won the cup, that contract was immediately like, yeah, who cares? Yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares when you win. Nobody cares when you win. When you win, everything is right. You did it right. Look him up. I'm going to look him up.
Yeah, he did play in the NHL apparently.
I will as soon as we're done.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
I will look him up.
But okay. So Graham, moving forward, if you were Rod Brind'Amour, what's the X factor moving forward for the Canes? Like, because they got to go to Florida, and basically, I loved how I think is it Eddie Olczyk, right? He's on the broadcast. He's like, you got to go to Florida and win a game 1-0. That's literally what it looks like right now for them. That's the only way it looks like they can win is to win 1-0.
Carolina's been really good at insulating Freddie and whoever's in between the crease. So I think Florida's done a really good job of finding a way to get the pucks to the net in a dangerous way. And so you have to insulate them. You can't focus on scoring every chance you have. You have to limit the chances that you give up. And Carolina's already a shot volume team. They're going to shoot from whenever they get a chance to the net. And they're going to try and make it dangerous. And it will go in.
I mean, that strategy did not work tonight.
It hasn't worked yet.
It
hasn't worked yet.
Terrible.
They also did not do that good of a job of insulating Freddie either.
Did anybody team this as a can't lose for Carolina tonight, by the way? Or was it a must win for Carolina? Did we differentiate those yet? I thought it was a couldn't lose.
I still don't understand the difference. Like you're saying the same thing.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, Brock, moving forward from a Cats perspective, obviously the health of Reinhart is going to be very crucial. Looking forward into the next couple of games, is it just all ships forward as far as you're concerned for the Panthers?
All gas, no breaks, if you will.
Yeah.
No, I think that like whatever, they're hitting all the high notes, man. Like just keep playing that same tune.
Is there any adjustment you would make if you were Carolina as far as how to beat Florida?
I'm not nearly as intelligent about hockey as Rod Brind'Amour, so I think that if he is as good as he has shown at coaching, he will adapt and figure out something to do differently. I don't know if you can make a massive adjustment in structure or style of play. Like you can't go away from the chip and chase / shoot from everywhere mentality. I don't know if you can make it that drastic of an adjustment, but I do think that you have to make some subtleties around the edges to at least give yourself a chance. But yeah.
So one thing I think it goes.
And that concludes this week's episode of Between the Benches. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and check us out on YouTube. Also hit the like and subscribe.